are live. This is the market update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto or you need a roadmap in macroeconomics, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, hit the like button and comment below. Let's welcome who's on the stream. We have Sean Francis first again. Right? AZ Israr, welcome. Bull Runner, hi. Crypto for T, welcome. Lotmo Crypto, Jason, welcome. Danny, Spin is here, right? Crypto Funds from Detroit, Phoenix, Israel, hello. We have Lawn Shark from Tennessee, Joseph Ryan, all right. Mr. Sony, how are you? I am good. Right? We have Quebec City. Bring it, Bill. Yes. GE All, Mr. Moby Dick. Welcome. Christopher Cotta. Hi. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining the stream. Tell your friends we're back on YouTube. Shorts, feature videos, and of course, the market update live stream. And we have Italy in the house. All right. My child is headed for Italy in January. Okay. Jeff Donaldson says, I'm glad you have your own channel. You know what, man? Me too. It feels good, right? Andre says, give us some Notorious. So without further ado, let's get to Notorious. All right, now let's start with the news. Oh my God, the Twitter files. Yes, the Twitter files. Musk is making Silicon Valley look frankly silly every day. Twitter Files investigation reveals that teams of Twitter employees built blacklists and prevented disfavored tweets from trending. Now, a brief word. Twitter is a private company. It's a private platform. They can do whatever they want. I'm not disputing that. But if you happen to be on Twitter and Twitter makes a difference as to whether you make a living or not, right? Them treating one group one way and allowing them to make a living and preventing you from making a living is a whole different ballgame. So on one hand, they can do what they want on their platform. But if they're favoring person or business A over B, I don't know about that, right? So supposedly, if you consider most of the people who were being held back had a certain political view. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're on the right or on the left, or you agree or don't agree with these people or even these policies. Here's something that I would give you to think about. One day, today, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you may be the voice that people want to censor. Because after all, this is a crypto channel, right? They're after your PayPal, they're after your Venmo, right? We've got news about the metaverse coming up. Your voice needs to be heard. And so does mine, right? So what's considered right and left today may be different in 3 years. So whatever these guys have been doing, okay, which Elon is ending, right? Teams of Twitter employees building blacklists, and Elon is even cranking it up, saying that they're going to build software functionality that's going to allow you to see what's been happening with your platform or your Twitter in the past. So Elon not only has control of the narrative, he is running a television show on Twitter at the expense of Silicon Valley, right? He's turned it into theater. Okay. But it's important for crypto people because our voices need to be heard, right? FTX is driving our narrative, crypto narrative, right? That needs to change. And Elon is the one who's going to change it. And that's what we're going to go through on the market update with our charts and our PowerPoint. So if you happen to like Doge or Tesla, don't even move. Don't even move, because I think you're going to like what we have to say. Now, a brief word about the economy and about crypto. BlackRock says, get ready for a recession unlike any other. And what worked in the past won't work now. Well, what's worked in the past for a recession? Well, rate cuts, right? Tax cuts, maybe even fiscal stimulus. Well, we've kind of already done too much of that, and the Fed is still hell-bent on raising rates. So you have to ask yourself, what is the remedy to a recession, or what can you do to help yourself in the event of some sort of economic disturbance? Okay, you can have a silver coin, you could have Bitcoin, or you could have some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about in a minute. Okay, there has to be a way to protect yourself against a recession. I know the question in crypto is when moon, right? Bill, when moon? Okay, what's the portfolio for 2023? We are working on that. That actually starts today, right? But you got to be asking yourself, not what's the portfolio for the next cycle, which is interesting, but what's the portfolio for the recession? Now, meanwhile, nobody is talking about this. Federal Trade Commission sues Microsoft over its $69 billion acquisition of Activision. Well, obviously, Microsoft bought Activision because all the 3D animators on the planet happen to work at Activision because they make video games. So Microsoft wants to get into the metaverse just like everybody else, and Crypto Crazy is reminding you to hit the like. Please do so. And welcome to Adam Monero. Hi, right? Why do they want to stop the metaverse? Right? I mean, they're after everything. Right? Sam Bankman-Fried is walking around, and that narrative is on Good Morning America. Yet they're after the metaverse, they're after your PayPal and your Venmo, and you have to start asking yourself why. And also, why is the media constantly focused on FUD? I will never forget the bottom of the market in 2018. You just couldn't get anybody to say anything positive about crypto because the price action that led to that down move, that disappearing act in Bitcoin from 6,000 to 3,000 was so shocking that nobody could say a kind word about crypto. And we seem to be right back in that area. Now, bankruptcy judge orders Celsius to return $44 million in crypto that was locked in cold storage. So thank goodness someone is getting their money back. Hopefully they don't all turn around and dump it into the open market. Okay. But again, what's the headline in crypto? Have you heard a 2023 preview for crypto? No. You know, you may have problems with Bitcoin miners, right? Crypto's not really moving, and that can be dangerous if it occurs over a long period of time. But everything in the news is FUD. Meanwhile, Starbucks is launching a Web3 loyalty program using NFTs. Okay, another buried story. Okay, so on one hand, you know, it seems like the media is only reporting FUD, right? And the government is after everybody except SBF. Please explain that to me in the comments below, right? Please explain that to me. It's stark raving unbelievable. I mean, I know crypto people who are going to the Bahamas to protest the fact that this guy's walking around. Now, it's not my job to comment on the legal system of the Bahamas and how it is they run their country. That's up to the citizens of that country. Okay, but the insanity of this year in crypto has prevented people from remembering what's good about crypto. Because again, when you go back to BlackRock, don't be shocked if these guys start making a major acquisition. Don't be shocked. Like, can you imagine what happens in crypto if, say, Bitcoin drops, right? Or stocks drop, and then BlackRock comes in and buys a major exchange, or at the same time, Elon hits the tape about the coin we're about to go over. So sometimes in thin holiday markets, Bitcoin may lead to the downside or people may lean bearish, and then real positive catalysts may occur that squeeze everybody out. Like in equities, people can't buy enough puts, which is downside protection, protection against downside. Now, this is not an equity show, although we can do one. So if you want one, comment down below, right? Because we are considering a legacy market update. And we are also noticing that anything we write, I guess you could say, about Elon or anything, sort of news-like or on the political side, people like. So tell us what you want. Tell us what you want mixed in with your crypto. Now, let's get to the PowerPoint version of the market update. Okay. Now, welcome to Trading Elon. Trading Elon. Let's talk about Doge. Okay. And this is Doge on a log scale. So back in the bottom right-hand corner of your trading view, you can look at price on a, nominal basis, or you can look at a log scale, which, does certain things to smooth out the numbers, particularly if something goes from 1 cent to 20 cents. When I look at this, I was like, wow, this looks like a bull flag. And it looks like a bump and run. It looks like breakout, return, and then go. And they say flags fly at half mast, meaning this is a mast, this is a flag. And if the flag is at the midpoint of the mast, Doge could travel this huge distance higher. So there is a technical analysis case for kind of an epic move up in Doge. So if there's a down move in Bitcoin or ETH, it may be worth it to commit capital, not investment advice, to something like Doge if you're trying to build a longer term portfolio. Crypto Lion, welcome. Ashton, hello. Let's look at Doge on a monthly basis using DeMark. So on DeMark, you have 9 bottoms and tops and 13 bottoms and tops. Counts a certain set of conditions, like, the low is lower than the low 2 days ago. It's complicated. But frequently when you see 9s and 13s, you can expect either a modest reversal or a major one. It depends on the situation. Kind of noticing that there's a 9 bottom on Doge. And it's not entirely clear whether or not Doge can continue to go higher. But if Doge has a positive December, right now it's slumping. But if there is a positive December or a positive January, you could be looking at 5 more up months in Doge. So what I'm trying to tell you is what happens to Doge in the short term could have implications for the first half of next year. Now, crypto sucks, Doge sucks, and there's another FTX, Bitcoin, Michael Saylor blow up. Okay, whatever, right? We're talking about politics and bowling. But in the event Doge does perk up, because I can't believe with Elon having complete control of the narrative that he's not going to try to take complete control of finance. Right now, Elon has got news and entertainment. What's next? Finance, right? He's actually trying to do technology with space travel and Neuralink. Who knows if Uncle Sam's going to let him do that? They're not going to let Microsoft do the metaverse. I don't know if they're going to let Elon turn you into a cyborg, although that would be very helpful for me. So I'm not so forgetful. Ha. Doge. Is this a 5-wave up? So this actually comes from DeMark. It's harder to see the numbers on DeMark, so I just drew it over here on TradingView. Okay. So starting in June off the Celsius lows, that was the first leg up. followed by a correction in the fall. It explodes off Elon getting control of Twitter. Doge comes back down, right? And then Doge, according to hidden pivot analysis, might have a shot at a new high at 17 cents. So, if Doge is at 9 or just below 9 cents or at 9 cents, Doge is intriguing from a DeMark Elliott wave point of view, because 5 waves can be very powerful. And to the other slide, okay, with the flag, this could be a lot bigger than 17 cents. A lot bigger. Hey, Doge Weekly. DeMark has several types of signals. The thing that produces the 13 bottom is called sequential. There's another one that produces those signals. It's called combo. Combo, instead of using the 13, I have seen reversals occur on the 11. So instead of waiting for the 13th time a set of conditions is in place, sometimes with combo, sometimes I've seen 11. And it's really interesting with this that when you look at Doge on a weekly basis, it kind of looks like the bigger the base, the higher in the space, doesn't it? I mean, this base that's been going on in Doge has lasted almost all year. So when you have this kind of dead quiet stuff, right, and a lot of people selling upticks to get out, right? Like everybody thinks, oh, well, I bought a bunch of Doge in the meme coin era, and then when Doge goes up, I'm going to do tax loss selling for this year. Well, I'm guessing that's been done already. I'm guessing that this decline here, like Elon takes over Twitter and then everyone sells. That looks like the tax loss selling in Doge. And then the next round of people who come in could be retail, and it could be institutions. Because if you're going to do business with Twitter, you may have to do it in Doge. And this says nothing about what may happen when Musk potentially moves Twitter's headquarters to Austin, Texas, where he's got the Gigafactory and all that. Doge could wind up actually being a currency on both Twitter's platform and in a major city where, it becomes Elonville. So, I don't think it's a good idea to just be asleep at the wheel on Doge, because again, Elon's got the narrative. I do a short YouTube video on Elon. I have twice as many views as I have subscribers. So let's change that and subscribe to the channel. Okay. I mean, the news about the news is more powerful than crypto at this point, right? Okay, so Moby Dick is asking, do you have some support and resistance levels on the upside and downside? Okay, let me get to that. So right here, using Fibonacci speed resistance lines, drawing off the October top in Doge and connecting the June bottom, I'm basically showing support right underneath at 9 cents, like that even number, or just below 9 cents. That's one number. Now, I'm going to go back to Doge on live TA, so don't go anywhere. But here's the most underreported story of the last couple days, right? PAX G, we're working on that, and gold. Don't worry, that's coming. Okay, silver. Okay, so if you follow the gold bugs and the silver bugs, right, they will tell you that the shortage of physical silver is epic, and this could create a massive squeeze in the paper silver market. So one of the reasons why back when and still today I like GLDN is it's a way to speculate on gold and commodities outside that system. But back to that system, silver should be much higher. And Elon bought a silver mine, so he guarantees that, Elon Enterprises, SpaceX, and Tesla will have silver. So if silver takes out 23.15, it's going to go to 27. It's tested this top fib speed resistance line 1, 2, 3, 4 times. In my humble opinion, if it goes to 27, it's going through 27. And precious metals may be a 2023 surprise. It'll probably be a 2023 trade, but it could be a 2022 surprise in terms of what it does in the next 3 weeks. Tesla. Okay. Everybody likes to beat up Tesla. Tesla from the DeMark Elliott wave looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 done. I like that blue squat bar at the bottom. That's from Bill Williams' analysis. So, and also Tesla is breaking out above a fib speed resistance line. Again, people were very bearish equities, and, you know, maybe equities don't do much for the rest of the year. But if Tesla's been hammered and Tesla makes a bottom, all Elon has to do is talk about, you know, hey, you can buy a Tesla with Dogecoin or whatever. I mean, Elon can say whatever he wants, right? Really, because he's got control of the narrative. So, you know, he used to say things about Doge and everyone's like, oh, Elon, you're just pumping it. No, not anymore, right? This guy is controlling news and entertainment. Finance is next. Okay, dollar index. Okay, this is good for crypto. It could help Doge. It could also help Bitcoin. This is hidden pivot analysis on the DXY 4-hour chart requested via my Twitter. Okay, crypto_noble. It looks like 105.2 in the dollar index is resistance, and the next target's 102. I mean, everybody who's been long the dollar all year and thought the dollar was going up forever is going to get stopped out. They're either going to wind up taking whatever profits they had, or short sellers are going to come in and just try to push out long-term longs. I think this can single-handedly hold up crypto if the dollar goes from 105 to 102. And I think it could create a bid in crypto. You know, the thing that's holding crypto back is probably a problem with Bitcoin miners, which is why I'm thinking move to Doge. Okay, people are asking about gold. I think the best way to think about PAX is to look at the actual gold chart, right? This seems clearly to be a head and shoulders bottom. I think people are going to look at it that way, even if it's not a perfect formation, right? So it's breaking above a trend line. It's retested the trend line. So that's bump and run. Okay. There were some bearish stochastic divergences the last 2 days, which the gold market ignored, and they just BTFD'd, right? And this starts making a new high, right? As of right now, the upside target in gold is 1960. And, you know, that basically means that's a nice way of saying 2K PAX is realistic, right? Driftless crypto, welcome. Richard Barry is here, right? Yes, I'm getting some love for basically pounding the table that the dollar was a massive top at 111. Now the thing to pound the table on is gold and probably Doge. I want to pound the table on Bitcoin and Ethereum because lower dollar should help ETH, but we're not getting there right now. ETH is deflationary. Everyone's forgotten about that. But again, this gold trade, rather than sitting watching boring markets, this is moving. Okay, yeah, 1 to 2% at a time, but that's better than nothing. Okay, in the GLDN universe, speaking of commodities, there's BARC, right? BARC is the fledgling water futures contract, for lack of a better term. It's an attempt to bring price discovery to water so that people who don't have water can buy the contract in theory and take delivery of water or hedge in case they have to buy expensive water for their population in the event of drought, natural disaster, etc. Right? This came out during the GLDN FUD storm. No one's paying attention to this. No one. Conveniently, BARC went up off the airdrop to GLDN holders and then came back and held the 62% retracement twice during the GLDN FUD storm, and it has popped up. Hidden pivot analysis shows 26 cents is theoretically possible. This is technical analysis, not investment advice. I work at Gold Retriever. I have BARC and GLDN. Okay. But there was a request for this in Twitter. So that's how I'm looking at BARC and the GLDN universe. Okay, now if there is bad news, so let's just say all this is wrong, and sometimes this happens on the market update. I have 11 slides, and then the 12th slide, the opposite direction, winds up being the thing that's relevant. You know, HUT miners, HUT Bitcoin miner, I thought it was great, and then it crashed. And if it really crashes, it goes below 50 cents. If there's something wrong with equities and Bitcoin and the miners, right? If there's a problem, it's with Bitcoin, even though it shouldn't be. There's some sort of weird minor distress. Hopefully, this can get worked through, but we have to be realistic and we have to think with a dip buying mentality in anything that we might like. Okay. And that is the PowerPoint version of the market update. Okay. Now let's go to live TA. Let's check what's in the comments first. Jason was like, what was the GLDN FUD? Well, the GLDN FUD was that people didn't like the code behind GLDN or me. Okay. So that was what that was about. That created huge volatility in the coin to the point where it was like, it was like the vomit comet. I'm showing that GLDN may have completed what I call 5 of 5. So there was a final down move, and then that final down move also had 5 parts. So GLDN somehow wound up all the way down at 80 something cents and then reversed and trended. I mean, this was trending on DEX tools along with BARC for like 6 hours because it went down and then did a 1X all the way back. The volatility is unbelievable. So if you don't like volatility, GLDN is not for you. I own GLDN. I'm the director of research for Gold Retriever. So, this is just how I'm drawing that at this point. Now, let's go to live TA. GBTC is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Grayscale, the company that manages the 600,000 Bitcoin that this trust holds, right? So the trust holds Bitcoin, and then people on the equity market can buy and sell GBTC, right? Grayscale could be in trouble because of FTX, which is why crypto trades like shit. Bitcoin is even, ETH is down less than 1%, but crypto just doesn't have any get up and go because there may be a final shoe to drop. Fine. I get it, right? But that's a Bitcoin problem. It may not be a Doge problem. It may not be. Okay. Andre wants me to take a look at Uniswap. Okay. I actually like this for a couple different reasons. I like the Uniswap story. Okay, so here's Uniswap on a daily chart. Okay. I've actually been using Uniswap all the time. It's kind of fun. It's like back in the days, except it's not a $200 gas fee. Okay. Williams oscillator may be trying to go positive here, but I think it'd be a better trade if the Williams oscillator was closer to 0. Now, while we're on the subject, okay, and of course I can go to Uniswap over here on DeMark, which is probably the best place to do it, right? Because I don't think you can get a good tactical read on anything for seriously without the DeMark work, because DeMark can be useful inside of ranges. The only time DeMark work doesn't work is if you have unbelievable trends like the down move you had with Celsius. So D-Wave on Uniswap daily, not great. Okay. Now, I do think it's interesting that Uniswap is traveling in this upward sloping range. And it's ironic with GLDN that, people were criticizing that because it pays a dividend in, PAX G. It requires more people to come in for it to do well. But all the DeFi tokens back in the day, I mean, when you earned money, they printed their own token and gave you that. So there was a lot of high APY, and how sustainable was that? And you got to remember back in the day with Uniswap, right? This sort of goes back to like a weekly view, right? Back in 2020, there was a huge move up, right, to $25, and then it came off. Okay, let me see if I can go to the daily chart. Let me see if I can get something different here for Uniswap. That's actually market cap. Sorry. Okay, so here's back in the day Uniswap. Let's go to the daily chart, and then I'll give you the full read. So this was the airdrop of Uniswap, right? It kind of came out of nowhere, right? People who had been using it got airdropped the coin. It went all the way up to 15, and then it bottomed below 2, and no one wanted it. This is the daily chart, right? This is Uniswap and DeFi are dead right here. Okay. A new way of doing things was rendered useless. They gave up. Okay. And then what happens? Well, then it just exploded. And let's see, the high was 30. Okay. So in small altcoins, you can lose everything. You should not you should not trade or invest with any money you cannot afford to absolutely lose. Okay. But there have been instances where coins with a different way of doing things have come out, collapsed, and then resumed their move. Now, coming back to the present situation for Uniswap. Okay. So when Williams oscillators are tangled up, the theory is kind of don't do a trade. Don't do anything. Okay. I think in Uniswap, with the way this oscillator looks, maybe you can wait a week or two, and then there might be a big move. But I think it's going to take time for that to develop in Uniswap. But this goes back to GLDN and BARC, right? You had extreme volatility. You had euphoria followed by FUD, extreme euphoria followed by extreme FUD. No one's paying attention to BARC, which is water and price discovery in water, which, I think is insane. But, the longer it takes for people to figure it out, the more powerful the eventual move can be, right? Who's talking about price discovery in water? And oh, by the way, in order to trade BARC, you can't use ETH to buy BARC. You have to use GLDN as a trading pair. So just, not investment advice, but once upon a time, what was stupid, it was stupid, then it was euphoric, then it was stupid again, then the trend started. So thank you for bringing up Uniswap, right? Pancakes and peanut butter said GLDN FUD was FUD by FUDders. That's it. Thank you for saying that. Okay, ZB1 bonds. Okay, someone's looking at bonds. Now, the Fed's coming up. Okay, the trend is your friend in bonds. If you look at bonds on a weekly basis, okay, it's a pretty good reversal after down only. So it was down only. Let me just mark this. And then we're going to go to the DeMark work and see what this really, what the deal really is. Okay. So, I mean, this looks like a bottom in bonds to me, but let's check it out. Let's check it out over here. Okay. So this is IEF. This is the 10-year note. This is the 10-year note ETF. So if you traded something in the stock market that was the equivalent of the 10-year note, you have a 9 bottom and you have a 13 bottom, right? And all you need is one strong up month to start this count. You need a 1 up here to confirm the reversal. So it's a nice way of saying you probably have a reversal in bonds on a monthly basis. This is TLT, which is for the long bonds. It has a similar look, but it's not there yet. I think in TLT, you've really got to get through 118. before you can say that it's totally out of the woods. You want to get above what I would call the previous fourth in Elliott wave, or said simply where the give up trade started from. Here was the give up trade in bonds, down only every single week, except one. And if you can take the top of this out, which is 120, then you can say there's a bottom in the bond market. Okay. BlackRock says, get ready for a recession unlike any other. I just got to think that that could be good for bonds, and I hope it's good for crypto. Crypto hates higher rates. So that's why when the Fed talks tough, or when the Fed is about to talk, everybody in crypto is afraid. I say, let everybody be afraid in crypto. Let the Fed talk tough. Let the market dip or do whatever it's going to do, and then start thinking about Elon and BlackRock. Because if BlackRock or Goldman make an acquisition and Elon hits the tape with Doge about the same time, is that going to happen today? No. Could that happen? Yes. It could happen now. It could happen in January. It can happen when the market is thin, which could result in a bigger move, right? How does ETH get to 1420, right? Let's go back to ETH just for a second. In ETH, everybody's afraid of 1300, right? Like no one wants to touch ETH. This is a 4-hour chart right here, DeMark. Okay. You know, not a lot to say here other than there's this DeMark point at 1309. DeMark system actually automatically draws support and resistance. I have Gann charts that have resistance at 1309. Okay. So nobody wants to be long ETH. Every time it gets up there, people sell. Okay. That's the, I'm not going to fight the tape. That's what's going on. Okay. But the day that that changes, the day that nobody's afraid of 1300, you're going to have 1420. But, we're just stuck here in between. Okay. And of course, yeah, I see Cramer in the comments. Cramer did say, sell all of your crypto. I don't like making fun of people because I can be woefully wrong as he can as well. But I just woke up. I'm watching the performance of my videos and my TikTok, just also crypto_noble. I've got all of 32 people on TikTok. So perhaps we can change that, right? But every time I do anything about Elon Musk, it's off the charts, like relative to the number of followers. So there's all these people out there on the internet searching for anything about Elon, and they're picking me up. So what's going to happen when everyone starts talking about Doge, right? I mean, what happens when that becomes, if Musk was smart, he would make holiday dinner conversation about him and Doge. They always make all these jokes like, hey, you want to have holiday dinner with everybody you talked about crypto with last year and how painful that could be. Okay, well, maybe Elon changes the whole narrative. You're talking about the Twitter files now, but their Twitter files are Elon's way of cementing his control over what people talk about, right? He's not telling you what to say, right? But it's so compelling that you're listening. You're more than listening. You're like glued, right? Spin says Elon too busy worrying about the .gov. Yeah. They can try to stop Elon, but again, he's got control of the airwaves, right? And the more they come after him, the more popular he gets. They can't stop him from talking on Twitter. It's free speech. They can investigate him and do all kinds of things. They try that. He's running for president. No one's talked about that, right? If the government persecutes Musk, he's running for president. And don't tell me he couldn't win, right? So it's like news, entertainment, finance, and if they push him hard enough, politics. Right. Seth says, I'm going to break some news here. If Bill gives the okay on the back of the Silver Talk, Seth, feel free. Drop it into the comments. The silver trade is the real deal. Elon and Bill in 2024. Bro, I wish. Right now, all I can do is get a bigger microphone, which is what I've got for myself for the holidays, right? Let's get on the airwaves. Let's have a dialogue, right? I should be able to say what I would want to say, and so should you. Now, there are bad people out there, and they want to say what they have to say, and we should not listen to the bad people. Just we need to be careful that you don't become the bad people one day and people want to shut you down. Okay. All right. So Seth says, so I'm the director of research at Gold Retriever. This is somebody I work with. Gold Retriever is in the process of procuring a large amount of physical silver. We expect the deal to close early next week. The silver will be used to launch our own silver token. This token will trade cross-chain in both ETH and Doge pairs. There will be a zero tax. This will be a zero tax token. However, there will be a small tax fee like PAX on trades and transfers. Half of that tax fee will go to buy GLDN. Elon bidding for a silver mine was the catalyst to speed this up, as we think the main theme for 2023 will be gold and silver. Not investment advice, okay? But it's just been announced in a different way from what I already said. GLDN is a way to play precious metals in a micro cap sense. So if you don't like volatility, you don't like micro caps, you don't like experimental crypto assets or digital assets that have, code and things like that in the blockchain universe that are debatable, but the narrative is strong for us storytellers. It's strong for storytellers, for people who, hey, I want a membership. I want to be in this commodities, gold, water, silver universe. And I want to get in early. I mean, it traded at 5 cents. It went to $5. It went to 80 cents. Now it's at $1.50. Okay. Truly the vomit comment. But now that it's settled down, essentially the team just now on the live stream is announcing things about the ecosystem. You have choices inside the ecosystem. Again, not investment advice, right? If small caps are not for you, don't do it, right? But if you're looking for other ideas, right, we can offer you other ideas, or at least Gold Retriever, my employer, is offering other ideas. And when you're at a $15 million market cap or less, $10 million market cap, that's what you have. You have an idea like Uniswap back in the day, back in 2020. Oh, it's an idea. Oh, hey, we're going to airdrop tokens. Hey, it goes all the way up. It goes all the way down. DeFi's dead. Then it rampages for years. Be careful when people think things are dead. Anything, especially if it's useful, right? In other words, the gold and silver markets have peculiarities in them that make it hard for the market to actually express the value of the precious metals. The gold bugs, you can Google it, zero hedge, it's everywhere. Don't need to explain that to you. But in crypto, PAX, and while Bitcoin is stalled, there's always a bull market somewhere, right? And right now, the bull market seems to be in metals. Okay. Right? Okay. Let's sum it up. Elon, don't mess with him. He means business. He's got a movie going on Twitter, right? He's got a movie on Twitter, the Twitter files. I mean, people are glued to it. It's going to be like Star Wars. It's going to be like 7 or 8 episodes, and then he's going to move to finance. So I'm looking at Doge on a dip, right? I like precious metals any way you can get it. Physical, right? Digital asset instruments, large cap, small cap, not investment advice, right? I own some of this. I have GLDN, BARC, etc. That's all I can say about it. What I want you to do is if you're thinking about building a portfolio, think about what BlackRock said, that whatever has worked in the past won't work. So will gold and certain components of crypto work? And I'm going to leave you with that thought. This is the Market Update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. See you on Monday.